every single time. It's pretty much engraved into the back of our heads now. So no, we don't have any specific recordings or anything like that that we refer people to. We pretty much just on the spot will tell people everything that we're about.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was doing an AMA with, I think it was Chrono Sale, and I was doing like the research on the project, and I watched his like previous AMA, and it was like perfect. So I just went a totally different route. Like instead of asking him about the this and that again, I just said, you know what? If you want to find out about the tokenomics, they had a beautiful presentation at this other site, this other alpha group. Anyway, do you guys want to go ahead and get started?
Yeah.
Hey, Sigma
And
Chef,
so,
Yep.
nice to meet
Yeah.
you.
What's up? What's up?
Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, so I'm Caraway. Welcome to Fear versus Greed. Thank you guys for being here. Today we have Blockchain Bytes, and joining me on stage is Chef Rich and the Sigma Chef. Chef Rich, do you want to say a few words about yourself and then hand it off to Sigma?
sure do. First off, thanks for having us
You're
here.
welcome.
We really appreciate it. Really excited to get this project out to the public. But a little bit about myself. We are not fully doxed yet. We will be very soon. When we do the announcement for our mint date is probably around the time that we'll be fully doxed. But I live here in Hawaii on the Big Island of Hawaii, and been in crypto for a couple of years now. I hit the ground running. I had plenty of time on my hands during the whole COVID fiasco, especially there in the beginning. So I took that time to learn everything I could about crypto, and after a while of just getting into projects and investing in other people's dreams, and 90% of them flop and all this stuff, it made more sense to take matters into our own hands. And one of my lifelong dreams has always been to own a food truck here in Hawaii. And so the team and we got together, a while back, maybe about 6 months back, 5 months back, and we were trying to figure out a way we could integrate a real world business to the blockchain. Because and especially with the food industry, because we actually haven't seen anybody do anything quite like what we're doing. There's plenty of businesses that have integrated to the blockchain, but definitely not in a food truck fashion, and also tied to profits and earnings and stuff like that. We will be the first. Um, but that's a little bit about me. I'll go ahead and pass over to Sigma.
Yeah. So I'm actually based out of Oregon, but I'll be heading to Hawaii here relatively soon, and we'll explain a little bit uh, about that. But um, I got my start basically, working my way through restaurants and food trucks. Starting in kitchens or front of house, and then working up to management positions. Now I actually part own a cannabis farm here in Oregon, but I've recently taken steps to kind of like, I mean, obviously I still own it, but I've been pretty involved in the operations of the whole facility. But now I've taken steps to slowly back myself off of those responsibilities so I can focus on blockchain bytes and Kona cones. Uh, you know, with the majority of my time. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm just really excited to kind of share everything with your group, Caraway, and yeah, I feel free to kind of get us started there, Rich. With I'd like, do you
Let me
kind of want
just
to go
ask
over the
you,
whole tokenomics, or do you want to? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
when is the first date? Can you give us a date to look forward to?
So as of now, it's kind of a tricky situation. So we actually um, on the back end, we had come to an agreement on a launch date, and it was going to be a month out from our announcement. And we were going to do the announcement for the mint date, um, was going to be on a specific day out of the week, and Terra Luna, did its whole fiasco and just kind of murdered the market and it was a couple days before we were going to do that announcement, and we were just like, shit. Well, that's not good. And so the last thing that we would want to do is launch our project in the middle of a nosedive. So currently, we don't have a specific date, but as far as the mint goes, but it will be like as soon as we can kind of all come to an agreement that we think the market is sort of bottomed out or has finished its dump, then we will move forward with setting a permanent date. Um, but yeah, as of now, there's no specific date to look forward to. Um, just know that we will be announcing a mint date relatively soon, and from that date, or from the day of the announcement, will be about a month out.
Gotcha. I totally understand that. You guys are waiting for the market to find a footing, and then you will put out the announcements. Yeah, the market's feeling it right
Yeah,
now.
because we actually,
But I
Well,
think,
exactly that. And we go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say, I think that delaying is the right move, and but I also think that um, I'm not seeing very many new DeFi projects, and one thing that is very consistent with DeFi projects is that they get delayed. I would say that not even including projects like yours. I'm talking about during the bull run. I would say 70 to 80% of the projects got delayed. And so
Mhm.
people that are not building right now, if they are builders, they're making a huge mistake. Now is the best time to be building things, even if you're not necessarily marketing them. So yeah, I mean, I think
See,
that you guys are
yeah.
basically very well positioned to um, time your launch because I assume that you've got a lot of the development is done, isn't that right?
Yeah, I was actually just going to touch on that. So we are pretty much done with most of the development, and so yeah, like I was saying, we were gonna make the announcement the week that Luna took a dump, and then we were gonna be about a month out from there, and we actually did not need that entire month to finish development. We just wanted to make sure that we were gonna push the date out far enough to where if there was anything that we had to do on the test net or just any little thing that had to be adjusted, we had time to do it after development was complete. So yeah, as far as the development goes, we're pretty close to being done.
I had the thought, and I hadn't heard anybody else. Everybody's so bearish. I'm like a perma bull. I just am. I just don't see how things aren't going to recover. People are like, "Oh, it's different this time. This is the great the great reset."
Yeah,
The great reset. This is it. 2021 was like the last year that the stock market ever went up. And
yeah,
I'm thinking,
yeah.
nuh-uh, nuh-uh. Wait until Congress
No, there's
passes another $7 trillion spending bill. Let me tell you something. Crypto is going to get a bump, okay, to say the least. These people are
yeah,
insane. People have no, they don't understand human nature. They just experience it, right? They're fearful, so they can only see gloom, but they can't imagine how it's going to feel. The amount of FOMO that is going to kick in when
yeah,
you know
and
what I
like
mean when the market changes course.
yeah, and one of the things that I've noticed about just investing in crypto is, it's even though Bitcoin has been around for a long time and all that stuff, and crypto's been around for a relatively long time, it still has it doesn't come close to how long the traditional stock market has been around. So the what I've noticed with crypto and investors, that is they're all very green, or most crypto investors are pretty
Yeah.
new to the scene, and so what that does is when things go awry and people start to establish a little bit of fear under their belt, the whole market takes a everything just takes a huge shit because you've got the traditional investors that understand what I'm talking about, that have big money in the game, and they know how everybody's going to react when bad news hits the screen.
Oh,
And
you
then
know,
so
the
instead of
big money's thinking, I can't wait for it to go down further so I can buy more. They're just waiting. The
yeah,
big money is just waiting to buy. Don't let anybody
yeah,
fool
so,
you. This whole bear bull thing is a total joke. There,
but
people, yeah,
but
anyway.
the volatility though is from what I've noticed is because the world of crypto investors, or at least the majority of crypto investors are new,
Yeah.
and so it doesn't help with the volatility of the whole scene,
Right, and
but
they're
that's
young.
actually one
They're
reason
young
why.
also. The thing is young.
Yeah.
They don't know how quickly life can change. You know what I mean? Do you know
Yeah.
how the stock market started
Oh yeah.
originally?
And that's actually one I do not.
It was actually Sigma. Have you ever heard this?
No,
Okay,
no,
okay.
no.
It started in uh, thousands of years ago in ancient times in Rome. There was a Roman stock market, and basically you were mostly funding people who had a ship but needed a crew, and they were going to go on a really risky expedition. And a lot of these were rug pulls, right? The guy would like literally sail to Iberia or somewhere, you know what I mean? And just but a lot of them also the ships would be lost. These are people explorers. I mean, some of these were really degen plays. But a lot of them were like trade missions. It was like, give us money. We're going to sail down to China and we're going to get some crazy stuff. And we're going to come back and we're going to make a fortune. And statistics is like a quarter of these ships were just lost, right? They sank.
Wow.
They crashed or they got caught in a storm, and a lot of them were rug pulls. And some of the ones that came back made people fortunes because they'd come back with all of these goods from China or very very far away places, Southern Africa, and that's what the stock market is. Some guy would be like, "Listen, I need 500,000
That's
dinar
crazy.
or whatever," and 50 rich dudes would come together with 10,000 each, or maybe one guy would buy 100,000, another guy would buy 5,000. Isn't that fascinating?
That's pretty crazy.
And it can
Yeah, I
take.
knew the stock market's been around for a while, but I didn't know the origins. Um,
Yep, they had it
but yeah,
all the
as
way
far as
back
like
then.
that's nuts. But yeah, to kind of touch back on the quote unquote bear market and our stance on that, one of the reasons why we're, we're the excitement hasn't died down for us, not in the slightest, is because what we're creating, it shouldn't the bear any bear market or crazy volatility in the market, it shouldn't affect our project. It might affect aftermarket sales for like the NFTs and stuff like that, but what we're building and having it tied to real world assets in the way that we're doing it, is I can't say it's bear proof, because we haven't implemented it. Nobody's really implemented this yet, so this is kind of an experiment, for everybody. But yeah, I'd like to kind of touch or kind of go into a little bit of a deep dive um, in what we're going to be doing, what the project's all about, and yeah. So if you're ready, I would love to get started on that.
Well, first let's say hi to Swope. Swope just checked in. Thanks for joining us,
Oh, hey,
Swope.
what's up, bro?
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
We can hear you.
How you doing, man?
good man.
We we
Good
hit
to
we,
meet you. Thanks for being here. Do you want to, Rich? Would you like to introduce Swope?
Yeah, I was actually just gonna say so. We did introductions here not too long ago. So if you wanted to go ahead and introduce yourself and um, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
All right, yeah. Can you can you hear me now? Sorry, my mic is being weird.
Sounds good.
Um,
Yeah.
all right, awesome. Yeah, pretty much. I'm just like the head of Metaverse and the Discord. Also did a little bit work on the website as well. Um, yeah, I met these guys about like a year ago, and we always wanted to do a project. We were working on something. We were like teaching people about crypto for a little bit, and then we started to move on to a different space, and we were just bouncing ideas back and forth. And then this like food truck idea came up, and like how can we tie it with NFTs? And then yeah, it's just been like a wild roller coaster so far. Um, a little bit about me, like I personally do like audio engineer, so this space. I'm very new to the space, but yeah, that's a little background about me.
Awesome. Yeah.
Nice.
You guys have a
Yep,
great project. I
appreciate it.
guess I'll let. Well, first, before you guys begin, Chef Rich, do you remember the first question I asked about your project when we met, or what I
Ooh,
said, or what I
let's
said?
see. I can't say I do off the top of my head.
I, s-
Maybe if I sat here and pondered
I
on it for a
said,
minute, I
I
could.
said,
But
I said, do you have somebody on the team who is an expert in running a restaurant? And I said, if you know,
oh,
if you do, then you guys have a really great project. But I worked in restaurants a lot, all through high school and college, and
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
lot of skill
yeah.
and talent involved. It's not just being a
oh yeah,
cook. You have to be an excellent manager. You
nope.
also need an accountant. You need to. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah, and
I was gonna say, I
and
was like, I wonder if 12. Well, so like, I have like 12 years of restaurant experience. That's all I really did before I guess, quote unquote, like made my like, well, like, I mean, I made like a good amount of money in crypto, so I was able to invest in my now cannabis business, and I obviously don't work in restaurants like I used to, but I've managed restaurants for 6 of those 12 years, so um, I don't, I I hate calling myself an expert, but I mean,
No, be proud of
yeah,
that.
pretty close.
12 years in
Yeah.
the business and with all you guys together. And how many of you are actually chefs? Is that a question that I should
oh
ask?
yeah, we've got that a few. Yeah, so none of us are, certified chefs or anything like that. We didn't go to culinary school. But Sigma and I, like he was just saying, we do have extensive experience in all aspects of the restaurant as far as, management, bartending, entree chefs, pantry chef. Like I've also done it all. And I do remember you asking that question now, and I remember telling you, because it was a concern of yours. Do you understand that it's going to be a lot of work?
Yeah, exactly,
And
exactly.
yeah, yeah, and my response to that is yeah, the amount of money that is on the table, all the money we see flowing through all of these different projects in DeFi, it's asinine. It's ridiculous. The amount of work some of these people are putting in to make millions is just insane. And I don't get me wrong. I like a free lunch just as much as anybody else does, but I'm not willing to put in the work necessary to make that amount of money. So we do know what goes in and what comes out of running a restaurant and how stressful it is,
And I
which
know
is
you,
also one reason which is why we're not going to open up a restaurant. Uh, and I actually have friends, or well, I should say friends of family that operate food carts and food trucks, and have also had brick and mortar businesses, like at a fixed location. And every person I've ever talked to about running a food truck or a food cart is just like hands down, this is yeah, I don't feel like I'm gonna kill myself every morning. Like this is definitely the best way to go if you're just starting out. And that was actually oh, hold on one second. There we go. That was actually a little piece of advice I received a long time ago, when I first started even thinking about opening up a food truck, or getting into having my own restaurant in the space or something like that. And I think the statistics show that managing a restaurant is like one of the highest suicide rates, as far as jobs go. Yeah, no, running a
I
restaurant
believe
is
it.
Yeah, it can be extremely stressful. Um, if you don't do it right, you don't play your cards right. Yeah, it can be extremely stressful. But we, like I was just saying, operating a food truck, it's it's still going to be stressful. It's still going to be a lot of work. We're still going to be working 7 days a week in the beginning. Um, it's going to be, there's going to be a lot of trial, a lot of error, and actually, there's a pretty big piece of news. I believe I told you about it last night. Um, that we are going to basically implement to try to work out all of the kinks and stuff, as far as like the menu and what people are coming back for and all that stuff, before we actually launch the food truck. But we'll get into that in a little bit here.
You mean, yeah, it has to get done, right? And I know you guys
Mm.
are eager to share your tokenomics and your NFTs because you guys actually do have nice innovative features, and I think that you'll get a lot of users based on your great tokenomics. But from my perspective, the best thing about your project is that this food truck is going to be very lucrative. I mean, I've never seen a food truck that wasn't killing it. I actually had dreams of opening a food truck. After college, I got a job at a great big office building, and there was hundreds of people leaving every day for lunch, and we would go to
Mhm.
the worst places like Wendy's and McDonald's, and because there was nothing to eat. I mean, you don't have that much time. And I thought, man, a food truck could sit outside this place for 4 hours a day and literally sell to everybody. I mean, you would get hundreds of customers
Yeah,
so easily.
yeah.
Um,
My friend, the one I was referring to earlier with the food truck, he actually striked a deal with Chevron, where they would let him bring his food truck on site at Chevron, to I forget like what area that they would allow him to bring his food truck to, but basically it was where everybody that was working in the refinery could
yeah.
access it without it being a
Um,
danger or
the
anything like that, and he made a killing.
Of course,
It,
because
it still is.
you can charge more and the food is better and people can get it quicker and it's so convenient. The my old house, um, I was living in Washington D.C. and there was an MVA near me, like a motor vehicles association, and they'd have two or three food trucks outside of that constantly. And they were making a killing because, you get your ticket or whatever, and they say it's going to be 90 minutes, and you go, I'm hungry, I'm not going to
Yeah.
sit here for 90 minutes. So, yeah, I love the food truck idea. And to me, this is the best thing because 90% of projects don't have a great idea for the treasury. Some people, like, one of the common things I hear is, oh, we're going to do real estate. And I thought, I always think like, okay, is somebody on your team an expert in real estate?
Mhm.
It's not, it's not so simple. It's like, and I know this word expert gets bandied around. Listen, you're an expert if you know how to do it profitably.
Hmm.
That basically makes you like in the top 90+% of all other people.
Well, Caraway,
Yeah.
check this out. Do you know how McDonald's makes all their revenue?
No, I don't.
The real estate.
Yeah.
So they don't actually make any money from selling food. Like they make all their money from owning the real estate that all their properties
Oh,
are
I
located on,
I
right?
saw
And
that
buying farmland.
movie that kind of went over that. That
Yeah.
was yeah.
So
Keep going.
so check this out. So there's absolutely no so like that's part of our whole, I mean, that's part of the grander vision, I guess you could say, in terms of like I essentially want to start seeing blockchain byte quote unquote pods being food cart pods being popped up all around the country, not just Hawaii, where essentially we're buying plots of land. We're setting up like I don't know where you're located, but like in Oregon we have food cart pods everywhere, and the owner, so like yes, food carts kill it, but the people who are killing it are the people that are owning the land that these food carts are renting from. And they also put up their own little beer garden. Sometimes they have an arcade, sometimes they have like a little event space. It just depends on how big the area is. But I mean, that's essentially our same goal.
Yeah,
start
yeah.
Yeah.
buying pieces of land, start
There's a
renting out to
brewery
other food trucks.
near me
Yeah,
now that
yep,
they have a
that
brewery
kills
and they
it. Yeah,
have a like a beer garden
food
and they
carts.
have food trucks
Hmm.
that come and sit there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and
There, so
actually,
Oregon
in
City
Oregon
is where
there,
I come from, and they banned food carts forever, forever and ever and ever. Right. As soon as the first one opened up, it was right next to a brewery, and it like I could go there right now. There'd be 50, 60, 70 people just crammed in there trying to buy food
and
cart food.
and to touch on that, I was actually watching a video quite recently, actually, and it was a gentleman who runs a food truck in Oregon, I think in downtown Portland. Um, and he rents a space from one of these people that has, the property with, fixed bathrooms and all that jazz. But essentially, all this person did was buy a piece of property, pave it, and make it cozy, and then installed plumbing and bathrooms and stuff, and then just had parking spots for the food trucks. I forget. I
eight
believe
hundred dollars a month
more.
for
Thirteen,
5 to $800 a month, or what it used to be anyway.
1350 now
Yeah, that's
per
what I'm saying.
per month per spot, and I think that particular food truck pod
So
has like 15 or
so
16 food trucks. So it's like, yeah,
So
it's
how
crazy.
I'm looking at it, it's a long-term investment in the location itself, right? But then it's also extra streams of income because it doesn't just have to be our own trucks. Because if you look at the bigger tokenomics, there will be eventually multiple seasons, which just means we're going to have multiple brands or multiple trucks under our umbrella that is Blockchain Bytes. But that doesn't mean that we can't also rent out to other people. So it's just going to be essentially more streams of income as we continue to grow. But what's also great about this doesn't like we don't have to hit the ground running where it's like, okay, well, let's start buying land right now. Like that's like, I mean, obviously, like it all just depends on how much income or how much revenue is actually being generated by the aftermarket sales and by the game token themselves. So, um, like how fast and how big we grow is really just dependent on the market, or I guess our micro ecosystem that we're creating here.
100%.
S- Uh, I'm sorry, I was thinking so much about how much would it cost to get the first truck up and running, I think is my next question.
Yeah, yeah. So
Uh, I've
we
done lots of mental gymnastics about that, and like it's cool because like there's multiple ways we can go. And oh well, yeah, Rich, go.
yeah,
Like should kind
yeah.
of
So
tell them what we
yeah,
did last night, or
yeah,
like
yeah,
how we're kind of getting started, like even without the mint or anything. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah,
Let me
yeah.
take a
So
wild guess. Can I?
sure.
I'm gonna say if you get a brand new truck, which you would be probably a good idea, um, that's gonna be 80K. And that might be low. That might be on the low side. And then all the red tape, regulations, insurance, getting through the government, another 30, 40K. Hiring a team of employees, you need to have a large runway. You need to have. Oh, here's a good question. How do you keep the food cold at night in a food truck? Is there a freezer in the truck? Is that the idea? And then it's
No,
plugged
no,
in?
no. So we actually have a site here. So I own a couple pieces of property here in Hawaii, and right up the street, I actually have a property with a yurt on it, and we're going to be so in the very beginning. Well, this would actually tie better to the first question that you
So like,
asked. But yeah,
yeah, yeah.
as far as like keeping things cool at night, we will have an offsite facility because we're gonna essentially be doing our grocery trips a couple times a week. And then Costco trips about once a week because it's on the other side of the island. So we want to make sure that we have, it really is going to depend on the volume. And we're going to be testing that out with various different strategies and stuff like that. But once we get a feel for, how much we're going to be needing on a monthly basis, that will determine basically how big the facility is going to have to be, what equipment we're going to have for storage and prep and all that stuff. And to kind of go back to the food truck thing, we're actually not going to be operating out of a traditional food truck. It's going to be a tow behind. um, mainly because they're just extremely cheaper.
So much cheaper, and it makes more sense with the model that we're going with.
And the other cool thing too is by having it as a trailer, or a tow behind, it gives us the freedom to like oh shit, we had 1,000 people pop up today because it was such and such was having a wedding at the beach. Holy shit, we need to go get more food. We need to go get more supplies and stuff if we don't want to, if we want to be selling and cranking out all day long, we need to run to the
Oh,
store.
I see.
Well,
You
then we just
unhitch it and you leave the
yeah,
truck there working whilst
Yep,
the
you
I
fill up the truck.
I
exactly.
gotcha. Okay, well, how
Yeah,
much? Tell me about the other costs. I mean, the licensing. I don't
yeah.
know. It could literally.
It's really not that much.
Really?
I think you said like 30,000. Yeah, no, I mean I mean, I don't know how many businesses
I'll
you've
tell
set
you
up like with like just a simple LLC, but I mean it's maybe 5K, 10K at the most
Oh,
if it's some
I was
crazy
anticipating a
crazy.
licensing fee. So like, I would imagine on the island of Hawaii, there's some
Mhm.
sort of massive fee so that
No,
there's not
If
like a
you were
lot of
running a
different food
restaurant,
trucks.
no. So if you're gonna open up a restaurant, there's a little bit more red tape involved. But out here in Hawaii, you should see some. It's the wild, wild west out here. There's people
Really?
on the side of, yeah, like right now, I can guarantee you, if I were to drive up the street, the malasadas lady is sitting out on the main road. Like it's not a farmer's market. There's no other stores around. She's just sitting out in front of her house with her pop up tent selling malasadas. And then there's another lady right down the street every single day. She's selling tamales. My mother. My mother, she actually runs her business through the farmers markets. She doesn't have a food permit, and she sells vegan and gluten-free cookies and cakes and stuff like that.
But you guys are
Um,
gonna get a
so,
permit and
oh
everything,
yeah,
right?
oh yeah, no,
oh yeah,
we're doing, yeah, we're doing everything legit. But
no,
uh,
but that's just to show like how loose or relaxed their government actually is in Hawaii. So it's like when you think of red tape, don't think of Hawaii. Like it's like
I
it's
had
way
no
more loose.
idea. I would think that in Hawaii there would be a government entity shaking down everybody.
no,
Well,
it's
I
so
have a
like for certain things like Airbnb, there's a shit ton of red tape. Like it's really hard to like get on a list to like do those type of things because that's a that that the hotel industry is a major source of income for the state through taxes.
sure,
So
sure.
obviously they're going to shut down or not shut down, but like regulate those things like probably a lot more than something like food trucks. I would say.
yeah,
I'm
because
surprised. I have a friend who runs a restaurant in Puerto Rico, and it's like an illegal restaurant. He has a small seating area and a kitchen built in a building on his property, and it's all word of mouth, and people in the town typically do pickup, but he also has some seating. And I said, like you guys like do a lot of business. Why don't you go legit or whatever? And he said that the fees were outrageous. So that's sort of where I was getting my impression from.
yeah, and he's running a restaurant.
He is
Like,
running a restaurant with takeout. It's extremely small, and I'm
Well, I
guessing
mean,
that it's nice
yeah,
maybe
though.
no,
Puerto
It's
Rico is like
nice. He has a
gnarly.
bathroom. I mean, it's like a
Hmm.
nice restaurant. It's not like
no, it's just when you start diving into the whole brick and mortar side of things, that's when there's just way more red
You
tape.
need to have special parking for handicap. You need to,
oh my
have
God.
everything ADA and accessible. You need to have a bath. Yeah, you need to have all these things. Food trucks are awesome. You pull up, and as long as it's like a legal spot that you can be there,
Public parking, yeah.
go for it. Yeah, like
Yeah.
sell your food. Yeah, it's pretty rad.
But
Um, but
so we
yeah,
were
go
we
ahead.
were actually we were going and when we were putting together all the tokenomics and figuring out like what the expenses were going to be and all that stuff, we also had the food truck in mind, and like, oh, that's all we had in mind. We actually weren't even thinking about doing a tow behind in the beginning, and our estimated startup costs were about $150,000, and not and that was actually like way, you know,
That's like
way,
that's like
way
everything's to the nines, like fully custom artwork on the outside of the truck
of a brand new
which
food
we do
truck.
plan to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah. So and now we've actually we have a pretty interesting story with how we were actually able to develop Blockchain Bytes, and we basically we find ways where we can get stuff done with basically the littlest amount of income possible, and but done right. So we do a lot of things ourselves, but uh, anyways, all I was getting at is what we did last night was we purchased the first piece of basically the first piece of the business, which was the pizza cone machine. So it's a hydraulic heated press that makes the pizza cones, and then there's also a circulating pizza cone oven, which also comes with a just like a warming unit, so that you can have pizza cones pre-prepped and sitting in a warming unit, kind of like when you go get a slice of pizza from a pizza that's already been prepped and made and all that stuff. So anyway, so we purchased that last night, and so that should be here in about a month and a half. But what we're actually going to do is we're going to start how pretty much everybody on the island starts. We're going to go get permits and all that stuff to sell food, and then we're going to be selling. We're basically going to be setting up shop at the farmers markets with an event tent, um, fold out tables, everything that we'll possibly need. Taking payments, cold storage, generators, all that stuff. So we're going to start. We're actually going to start doing these farmers markets and stuff like that, because out here we've got a farmers market almost every single day, all year round. And granted, not all at the same location, but if we wanted to, we could pretty much stay busy 7 days a week just with the farmers markets, not doing anything with going to the beaches or doing private events or anything like that. Um, and to basically to get that part started, we're going to be spending about $5,000 to $6,000. Most of that was the unit that I just described. So that's purchased, that's paid for, it's on its way. And so after that, we've been looking at a few different tow behinds, and you can actually get decent, like really like beyond decent, like really nice tow behinds for anywhere between $10,000 to $20,000. And so what we wanted to do was get the business started, right? Just start selling, Kona cones, pizza cones.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Go ahead and get her
Yeah,
started.
yeah,
How
and
much
then
how much are the food trucks? Just out of total curiosity.
yeah, about $10,000 to $20,000
No, you,
for a brand.
wait. I thought you
Oh,
said
oh, 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 like a food truck.
yeah.
Yeah, a brand new food truck will run you anywhere between 80K to 120K. Like,
Yeah, that's what I
out
figured.
with outfitted with everything that you need, like ready to go, and then shipping it to Hawaii. Yeah, because there aren't any food truck.
Ah, didn't consider that. Hmm.
Yeah,
How much is
yeah,
that?
it's about $8,300.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and that's on the low end, depending on who you're going through. But
Is there
yeah,
tax on like a lot of stuff? Well, not tax, but it's just our prices just way higher because everything has to be shipped there on a boat.
a lot of people think so. So it depends on where you live. So it's a huge misconception about living in Hawaii, is that the cost of living is just crazy expensive. And if you're coming from Minnesota or Wisconsin or Idaho, like if you're coming from a place like that, then it's going to be like living in any coastal city. So I used to live in the Bay Area of California, and moving to Hawaii, the cost of living has actually decreased for me.
Yeah. Well, the Bay
So,
Area is like one of the
so
worst.
also just to touch on this, we don't always like there's so many options. Like when we do go and buy this trailer or food truck, like we can look for used food trucks. Like maybe we do go with the used food truck route if there is just a good deal that pops up. So I don't think anything has to be like pre overly premeditated, but just well thought out so that we have options when the time comes for purchasing of the unit, because maybe it does make sense to purchase it and have it be sent. Maybe we can find a used one and then just redo it, because we have, but between me and Rich, and then all of our his other friends on the island, we can easily outfit anything that we buy.
Yeah, and the other cool thing too is, we're when we're running these numbers, seeing how we can afford it, we're doing all of this with the mint revenue from our project out of mind, right? So the biggest kicker here is, with the mint revenue, we'll be able to afford the nicest of food, tow behind food truck or food trailers, I should say. Just everything that's going to go involved with the business. We'll have plenty of money from the mint revenue to have that foundation for anything that we need for the business. But the way we like to tackle things is like, okay, well, if we didn't have that,
As close as possible.
yeah, like if we didn't have this project, if we weren't trying to tie our business to the blockchain, um, how would we do it? And exactly what we did last night. We made that first step, getting it started. With the farmers markets and stuff like that, is a great first step. Like if we didn't have that project, or if we didn't have this project, I should say, then yeah, that would be our first step. Is get the equipment to make all this stuff, and start selling them at farmers markets, start going to the beaches with the pop-up tents and all that stuff. Until we were able to have enough money to purchase a tow behind. And it's really, if you don't come from money, this is it's the traditional success story. You started from the bottom, now you're here, right? So that's kind of how we like to go about, planning the business, is, as if we weren't going to have any mint revenue from Blockchain Bytes. But that being said, we will have mint revenue. We will have enough money for.
So
Okay.
explain to potential investors how they will receive revenue from the restaurant or food
Yeah,
truck business.
yeah. So there's two parts to the project. There's the game, and then there's the DAO. And so, our DAO sharing NFTs, which will just be Blockchain Bytes NFTs, will be staked, in the DAO protocol. That DAO protocol is going to get kickstarted with a 20% deposit from the mint revenue. So if we fully sell out, that 20% should be about $600,000. The majority of that treasury will be invested in stablecoin farms, earning a much lower APR than some of the riskier things, but it's just a safer way to go about it. And so we're going to be kickstarting with 20% of the mint revenue. And then throughout the entire protocol, the whole, all the tax mechanics and tokenomics, those will be feeding the treasury. The aftermarket sales will be feeding that treasury. But then the net profits from the food truck will also be feeding that treasury, right? So month after month, everybody's profit share NFTs, the revenue, the APR, the yield from our stablecoin farms should be increasing every single month. After we make those deposits, that's a little bit of extra money, which boosts the principal, which also boosts the yield, right? So that's how people will be tied to the profits of the food truck. So because in the beginning we were like, okay, if we're
I'm
doing
sorry. I'm not gonna. I'm so sorry. Can you repeat that and try to summarize that a little bit, because I listened intently, but I just got a little bit confused. And also
yeah, no,
Sigma and
I'm not.
Swope, if you guys want to answer any of these questions are for all of you, not just for Chef Rich. I just want to put that out there. Also,
Yeah,
typically I ask questions as they come, but this conversation has been so interesting. But I just wanted to put it out there that after this question, let's go ahead and take audience questions, because I know that people have been waiting patiently, and I thank them for their questions and for being patient. Sound good?
uh, Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, and before we take questions, I'd like to just kind of go through a really quick run through of what our project's about
Okay,
and how
that's
it
cool.
works. Yeah, and then if people, because otherwise we might have questions that are tied to uh, parts of the project that are 75% into the explanation, and then people might get more confused. And so to answer your question about how these NFTs will be tied to the profits of the food truck, um, we'll have a DAO protocol, which is basically we'll have a treasury that we kickstart the DAO with 20% of the mint revenue. Um, the DAO, I'm sorry, I'm trying to nutshell this as best as I can. Um, when people stake their NFTs, they will receive the yield that the treasury is producing, right? And that treasury is funded by all the different tokenomics throughout our project. It's also funded through aftermarket sales of the NFTs, so our Chef NFTs and our Blockchain Bytes NFTs. Which, by the way, the Blockchain Bytes NFTs are the ones that are tied to the profits. Um, but also, it'll also be funded by the net profits of the food truck. All right. So you have all of these things injecting money into the treasury that is invested in stablecoin farms. And those stablecoin farms will produce a yield. On average, the ones that we've been looking at range anywhere between 8 to 15%. Um, and the yield produced from that treasury and the APR that it's receiving from the farms that we're going to invest in, the yield will be allocated to anybody who has their blockchain bytes NFT staked in the protocol. And so the beauty behind it is, unless the farms that we invest in, lower the emissions or lower the APR, the the profits that the investors will see, it should always be increasing every single month, right? Like once they're completely allocated to the investors, yeah, the profits from those should increase every month after month after month because we're in stablecoin farms, coins that are pegged to a dollar, right? So no matter what the market's doing, the treasury balance, it won't go up, but it won't go down, and so that gives us stability as far as what people can expect their the NFTs to yield. And I'm sorry, that was not a nutshell.
No, I mean, one of the benefits of your project is that um, the tokenomics is complex and well thought out, but it's also hard to explain it in a nutshell. Um,
Yeah, no, we're gonna have a YouTube video. Well, I mean, we're actually gonna have a whole YouTube channel um, for educational purposes for the project, but also just for like when investors come in, they come visit Hawaii and they come see the Konakon's food truck. We're gonna have episodes and stuff like that on our YouTube channel. It's gonna be fun. But on that YouTube channel, we will have, especially in the beginning before we launch, we're gonna have explanations on how everything works. Um, we're gonna try to get an animated graphic to kind of go through the whole process, kind of like
so
some
what
of those
is
YouTube.
the conversion of profit from the food truck business to the treasury?
I'm sorry, the conversion. Did you say the conversion?
Well, it's 100% net, but we're obviously going to have a an operational cash basis as well. We're not going to just give up the whole like
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
going to be 100% of the net profits. We have to keep some for just operational purposes, but technically 100% of net
yeah.
goes
Because that,
back to the treasury.
because as a business owner, um, your net profits will be after your employees are paid, after taxes are paid, like after everything is paid and everybody else is paid, right? So like eventually the goal is to hire out and not have to slave away in a food truck for 12 hours a day.
Well, and what's great about this model is it's so easy. Like eventually, when we do hire out, because like at first it's just going to be me and Rich, and then maybe a couple of the other core members cycle through or whatever. But at first, it's just like, I mean, you really don't need more than 2, 3 people max in one of these units. Just again with the nature of the flow, and if you have proper setup, uh, or sorry, yeah, proper setup and prep, then like making pizza cones, yeah, I mean, you can get a pizza cone ordered and made within 5 minutes, 3 minutes even, like because that's how long it takes to cook them in the oven.
Yeah. But yeah, so does that answer your question? I'm sorry if we didn't catch it.
Well, it sounds like you said that outside of the operational costs, which I assume will include salaries,
Mhm.
um, 100% will go into the treasury.
Yeah, so after the employees are paid, correct? So like, the person driving the truck and cooking, and then the secondary line worker. So after they're paid, and any other costs for the business, on a monthly basis, like gas, resupply, all that stuff. What's left over, the net profit, all of that will be injected into the principal of the treasury.
Um, I just wonder if how that is going to scale. Are you guys going to increase your salaries? I mean, let's say 10 years from now, Blockchain Bytes is you guys have 80 80 trucks in 12 states or something. Um, uh,
Yeah. So
Also,
as
I
far
mean, it would always be like, market conditions. Like, if we're operating as a CFO, CEO, and it's some huge, like it's going to be just like whatever the market value is. It's not going to be like, okay, well, we need to give ourselves, $1 million bonus. You know what I mean? It'd be nothing like that ever. Um, because like the whole point of this is to make the profit share in it, or sorry, the DAO share NFTs the real source of income, right? Um, for this whole project as a whole, and the trucks are just a piece of that. It's like, but I totally hear what you're saying, Kay. I mean, like the food truck brand themselves could also just totally blow up and be, a monster all on its own. And what that should do is just benefit all the holders of the blockchain byte NFT holders, essentially.
Yeah, and then the other part that I kind of wanted to touch on there, as far as like the plans for the future, scalability, et cetera. Like obviously, yeah, if we have 80 trucks, um, or we're in 10 years down the road, yeah, obviously we're we're not going to be operating these things forever. And yeah, giving away the net profits, for the entire life of the business. So the way that the structure that we've put together here is each truck will be in contract with the DAO, which is a sticky process that we spent a lot of time researching and figuring out. But yeah, so each food truck will go into contract with the DAO for a time frame between 3 to 5 years. We have not like put a stake in that yet. We're still gonna. I think I'm pretty sure we're gonna do 5 years that we're gonna be in contract for. So after so yeah, after 5 years, then that food truck is no longer in contract with the DAO protocol. The principal stays. We don't take anything out of the principal. So whatever anybody's earning from that food truck, or the profits from that food truck, that stays in the protocol, right? It's just after 5 years, that one food truck will stop injecting profits into the principal. But throughout the project, we will have more food trucks being opened up through the tokenomic structure, through yeah, various means of the entire project. So we will be opening up new food trucks, constantly. Or people we've already got a few people that want to franchise, and so these are all terms that they'll have to agree to. But anyways, we will be releasing new food trucks, quite quite often. Maybe one a year, depending on the flow and depending on the volume is just like from the business itself, not from the crypto side of things. But yeah, depending on the volume and how fast we blow up.
This AMA is making me so hungry.
Yeah, I know, right? um,
You
but yeah,
know,
it's
I just found myself thinking about I know you guys wanted to talk about your tokenomics. You guys have such cool tokenomics and but for me it's
well,
just
yeah, the game itself, man, like
the
that.
restaurant
That
is what is important. The food trucks is the only thing
Yeah, yeah. But
yeah.
the thing is, though, is the people that are going to be listening to this AMA, they're going to want to know how they can utilize our project to make some money at the end of the day. And so we haven't even touched on the game at all. So the game is actually going to be pretty lucrative.
This is how they're going to make money. They're going to make money when the food truck makes money, right? I
Well,
mean,
so no,
this
so,
game is awesome and everything, but this is why
so,
uh okay,
so,
I'll let you go for a few more minutes, but we need to get to questions soon. Do
yeah,
you want to take
yeah. We also
like 7 or 8 minutes to explain this project?
Yeah, because we've actually ran the numbers. The income, the revenue from the food trucks is going to be minuscule for the first, probably for the first year compared to aftermarket sales and yeah, just all the other tokenomics of the game. It's going to be a fraction most likely, just based off of what we've seen, just minor or mildly successful projects do in aftermarket sales. And since we're doing something that nobody's ever done before, we in the scale that we're doing it, we expect that there's going to be heavy revenue coming from the aftermarket sales. But anyways, so the way that the project's going to
Before
work,
you start, can I just point out, isn't this the best AMA you guys have ever done? Come on,
it
come on.
is pretty,
Is it
yeah,
the
very
is
fun.
It's pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the most important.
Yeah, definitely the most informative.
All right, go ahead, and then Kurt is on stage now to ask a question. Thank you so much, Kurt. But let's let these guys do the pitch. Let's let them explain the project because I know that most people listening to this for the first time still don't know what the hell the tokenomics are.
Yeah,
And
or how to
it's
get
or how to
any of that.
yeah. So go for it, Rich. Go for it.
Yeah, yeah. So so there's two parts of the project. There's the DAO protocol and the profit share protocol of the project, and then there's also the game aspect of it. So the way that this is all going to work is we are going to release a collection of 10,000 chefs, right? 9% of those chefs will be special. They'll have better earning mechanics. Their rarities will be better, and those will be our tiki chefs. So you have our regular chefs, and then you have the tiki chefs. Um, once you receive, or yeah, once you mint your chef NFT, you'll be able to stake it on our protocol, which will be designed a lot like the game Cookie Clicker, or as far as DeFi is concerned, Sheep Game, Wolf Game. It's basically just a staking NFT staking game where you will stake your NFT on the protocol just like you would a regular yield farm or anything like that. Um, and our emissions will start to print our first layer token, which is Doe token. Um, we will not be providing liquidity for Doe token. If somebody from the community, or if any investor wants to provide liquidity, or make LPs so that they can trade it on the market, then that's fine. We encourage it, but for the first layer, we will not be providing liquidity for. That Doe token will be used to purchase upgrades, to basically produce dough faster and more efficiently. Eventually, people will then want to basically trade their dough for pizza token, or convert their dough for pizza token. Now, pizza token we will be providing liquidity for, and I think we're also Sigma. Is it 20? It's 20%, correct? Or is it more? Sigma. Okay. Anyways, so we will be
Don't
providing
worry,
us.
don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm
Twenty
here.
percent what?
The percentage of mint revenue that we're going to be allocating to liquidity for pizza token. 15%. Okay. So yeah, we're going to provide 15% of the mint revenue for liquidity for the pizza token, which, mind you, is quite a bit for starting liquidity. But anyways, so then people will basically run through a second stream of pretty much the same concept as what they were doing with their dough tokens. So there's going to be upgrades that produce pizza faster, that also produce it more efficiently. So there's burn mechanics sprinkled all throughout the protocol. And some of the upgrades on the pizza side will basically give you the ability to reduce some of the burn so you can capture more of that pizza token. Um, but anyways, so the the pizza token will be tradable, so people can actually use this as a source of income after they've made their ROI. Um, not guaranteed any, like, yeah, we're not guaranteeing any numbers or anything like that. Huh? So I can't hear you. Anyway, so the um, the pizza token will be tradable on the market, but pizza token will also be used to redeem these profit share NFTs, the DAO share NFTs, right? So every 4 days we will be releasing a. Hold on a second. Let me mute him real quick. Okay.
Do you need me to
Uh,
mute somebody?
it sounded like Swip was talking to somebody, so I turned his volume down so I could talk. But anyway, um, so yeah, so you can use the pizza token to sell and use that as income, which is if you look at Cookie Game, if you look at Sheep Game and Wolf Game, that's pretty much all their token was there for, was to be printed and sold. Um, so the way that we're going to be combating that really, sorry for my French, but the really shitty economic structure is every 4 days we're going to be releasing the DAO Share NFT, right? So, and that's every week, every month, all year long. Every 4 days we will be releasing one of these for auction. So we will let the community decide what these are going to go for in the form of pizza token. So what it does is the people that have these chefs staked, earning income, earning their dough tokens, converting it to pizza. These people that don't care about the profit or the DAO share NFT, that just want to print the token and sell it, they're going to be driving the price down, right? But every 4 days, we're going to be having an auction where if you want to tap into the profits of the project and the profits of the business, you're going to want one of these NFTs, and you need Pizza Token to do so.
I
So
gotta deal
what's
with a
going to
wasp
happen?
issue
And I mean, of
real
course, I
quick.
can't tell the future, but what should happen is we should see some price stability. So people that want to get their hands on one of these DAO share NFTs, they're going to look at the market for the pizza token and go, "Oh crap, pizza token's on discount. I need to beat Joe Schmo in this auction so I can get one of these DAO share NFTs. I need to go buy some pizza tokens." The auctions are going to range between, uh, I'm pretty sure we're set on 72-hour auctions, and then a new one starts on the fourth day. So really, the economy of the game, it should sort of balance itself out. So whatever income you're making from just staking your chefs, printing dough token, converting it to pizza token, and selling it, it should be relatively stable compared to other projects that have launched NFT staking games. And so that's the nutshell of how the game is going to work. Um, and then I think we've kind of already touched quite a bit on the profit share side of the project. So that's my 2 cents. Sigma, if you've got anything else to pitch in, if I missed anything.
Can I butt in there? I don't want to waste your all's time. I know you've been here for over an hour. So just to be clear, there are two NFTs, right?
Correct.
One of them is the DAO NFT, and that is the one that gets the restaurant profit sharing, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And all of the profits that the protocol is making as well.
So let me just ask you this. If I said to you, hey man, I love your project, here's my plan. I'm going to wait until I think that the pizza token is low. And then I'm going to buy this pizza token and then I'm going to get one of your profit sharing NFTs. And I'm not going to participate in the mint. but that's my plan. What would you say to me?
I would encourage it. I mean, I think everybody is going to have a unique
Different
strategy.
strategy, yeah.
Yeah.
So like that strategy is going to help out all the people that bought that did mint out, because who are you going to be buying that pizza token from?
Exactly.
From
So
paper hands, paper hands.
yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Which we encourage that as well. We encourage people to yeah, sell this pizza token, make some money. Yeah, there's going to be various different
I
strategies.
can't
Yeah,
wait to
there
see these auctions. I think that your project is extremely interesting. One of the sort of I don't want to say anything negative, but um, who is doing all the coding? Because this person has a big job. This is a much more complicated than my project,
yeah,
DreamFi, for instance.
yeah. So we have a very unique full stack Solidity coder on the team, and we work with them daily on just because there's the English language, and then there's the language of Solidity, and figuring out how to make those work with the project. It takes teamwork. We when we first met this coder, we shot him over the white paper and all of our behind the scenes tokenomics and stuff like that. And he loved what he was reading, but he just couldn't figure out certain aspects, right off the top. So we work with him almost daily, just to make sure that the message that we're conveying is codable. And if not, what do we have to do to make adjustments? And we've already done that a few times in the beginning of the project, but. Yeah, no, he definitely does. He definitely has a huge plate on his in front of him. But that's why we're also paying him a lot more than what your traditional full stack Solidity coder would get paid. He's actually going to be receiving an equal cut.
Yeah, he's part of the core team now. Like
Yeah,
we've just integrated him part of the team.
Of course he
It's
is.
Chef Cyborg.
He's got a huge responsibility and he's got a lot of power.
you should be
Well,
you'd be surprised though, like how many of these like just the turnaround, like a lot of coders, they don't stay married to any particular project. They're just here for the paycheck. Give me my 2 grand per smart contract and this and that, and I'm out. Right? There's a lot of coders like that, and so yeah, no, the fact that we're going to be giving him an equal cut. He's just as invested as we are, and yeah, no, he's doing a great job.
I hate to ask you guys this. What kind of compensation are you planning for yourselves?
So the core team is going to be receiving 4% each from the mint revenue. So, and we have 6 people on the core team, so a total of about 24 to 25%.
Oh, that seems totally fair to me.
Well, yeah, and then as far as like, mildly successful at just regular old NFT projects, they within the first quarter they typically do a 5 or 10x on whatever their mint revenue was. And so that's just all aftermarket. What do you call it? Royalty taxes, right?
What's your royalty tax going to be?
Well, our royalty tax is going to be 10%,
Okay, that's
and
standard, right? Industry standard.
yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah,
and,
but
and the standard is the team keeps that, right? Well, we're actually going to be basically injecting the treasury with 90% of what we receive in aftermarket sales. So we are only receiving 1% from that 10%. Well, not, I mean, we are receiving 1% of the royalty taxes, and the other nine
oh,
percent
that's
is
total.
yeah, and then that the other 9% is getting injected back into the
And
protocol,
then on
back
top
into
of that, so yeah, so it gets injected back in the protocol, which while it's sitting is generating, right, but that is there temporarily because that 9% is what's being tracked as to how we open up more food trucks, right? So it's like so if all the revenue is being pushed back into the principal, how do we make more, how do we get more food trucks? And it's through these aftermarket sales. So every single time we get, I don't know, whatever, 100,000, 80,000, 20,000, whatever we think that the baseline is for a new food truck. As soon as we have that, that's when we can start putting the pieces together, finding the new location if we don't already have one, setting up all the equipment, yada yada yada, and then like that'll essentially be our job is hopscotching around, or at least that'll be like my main job, just because I don't have like kids or anything, so I can be pretty free and like I'm kind of a nomad type of um, person anyway. So like I'll just be kind of hopscotching around, opening up new locations. Um, but yeah,
And more
that's the plan
and
and goal.
yeah, and more food trucks, more locations means more revenue
More
for
revenue.
the DAO program.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like and because it's a 5-year thing, within that 5 years, it's like, I mean, so I mean, technically, it would actually be more beneficial if we were just like, oh yeah, we'll just do like a loan or whatever. But that's not the point. The point is to generate actual like income for the treasury rather than just looking at like the treasury's like giving a loan to the food trucks or something. Like I want it to actually be like, no, the food trucks are generating income or revenue for, the treasury. Because
Yes.
as you were saying, Caraway, we've mapped out like the potential profit of this food truck on Hawaii, and like with how many
Yeah.
um,
Tell me
cones we can actually produce. It's
tell me what it
pretty
is.
insane.
Tell me what it is.
It's anywhere 5 all the I mean it really depends on how busy the area is and yada yada yada, but I mean we have the potential in an 8-hour day, if like we only sold pizza cones and like we didn't have a break that for an 8-hour period or something, it would be like $15,000-$20,000 easy.
So let me
Like
ask
no
you
problem,
this.
but
How much is one
mhm.
pizza cone?
Yeah,
Well,
so
so
we are
that's another
this
thing that
so
we're
this
going to be testing out. Yeah.
yeah, so what we want to do, this is
I
another
don't
reason why
I
we
don't know
wanted to
what a
get the machine.
pizza cone is. I hate to admit it.
I
Wow.
will tell you, yeah, if you don't know what a pizza cone is, I would say go to Google, type in pizza cone and click on images,
No, wait a minute.
and
I've heard of do
and
my own
normally
research, but this is beyond the pale. I have to now I have to find out what a pizza cone is. It's an ice
I
cream
know,
cone with a
right?
pizza, right?
It's a dough cone, a pizza dough cone stuffed with cheesy goodness and pizza toppings,
All right,
and
I'm back.
it's
Sorry.
actually it's they're
Thank
healthier
you,
than your.
Swope, for thanks, Swope, for that. Swope said I have
So
to go. What did he say? There was ants or
there was a wasp.
No,
There
oh, a
was a
he's fighting
wasp,
a lot.
huge
a
wasp.
wasp. Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
sorry about that.
but yeah, it's funny. The pizza cones are actually healthier than one pizza cone should equate to about 2 to 2.5 slices of pizza by volume. So the weight of the pizza cone it's about 2 slices of pizza. But because we're using less dough and more toppings, it's about a third of the calories of
This is a
two.
calzone that's open on one side and it's shaped like a cone.
Yeah,
Pretty much,
exactly.
Exactly,
yeah.
pretty much, yeah.
I nailed
It's a
it. I
but yeah,
nailed
it's
it. I won't. I'm
hand.
so hungry.
Yeah, I know,
We
right?
have a channel in my project DreamFi. It's called Fitness, and like half the people there are like, "Oh yeah, we got to get so fit. Like I did all these push-ups today and everything." And the other half, and I'm in this latter half. I'm like, man, I'm about to eat so many potato chips. You guys are gonna cry when you find out how many potato chips I just ate. But yeah, this is making me really hungry. How much longer do I have you guys for?
I mean, I know Swope has a beat to fight. Yeah, you have me indefinitely.
What is Swope?
Sigma, I
He
think
has a bee to fight?
Yeah,
yeah,
there's a
yeah.
wasp in here somewhere.
I
I
thought you
don't know
took
where
care
it's
of the.
at.
Okay, I thought you took care
No,
of the wasp situation, but
no. I
stop
just
the
closed my window
presses.
where it came through.
You gotta
Oh
open it
no.
up so it can get back out, man.
No, I'm gonna kill it.
Oh man. Okay,
But yeah, so
Can Kurt
that's
ask his question?
just gonna say.
Yeah, Kurt.
Yo, what's up, guys?
How's it
What
Hey.
up,
going, buddy?
Kurt?
What's up, man?
Not too bad. So this is less of a question, but more of an idea. Do you guys know what Elite Vault Protocol is? It's a DeFi project on BNB.
This
I
is
do
a
not.
total
Vault.
throwback. A total throwback. EVP. Okay, go
Oh
ahead.
yeah, I was one of the founding people in their Discord. Anyways, um, so they do voyages is what they call it. And so what they'll do is like for NFT mint, they'll set out a voyage, and people who mint in it get into that voyage, and so any profits from that go to those NFT holders. I know you're talking about like 5 years phasing out of food, like out the truck or whatever, but I didn't know if instead of that, using your DAO profit NFTs and have those be tied to a specific truck, so profits coming from said truck would go towards that. And then, like, let's say the next truck you want to open, instead of doing the pizza, you want to do like shaved ice or something else that's popular.
Yeah,
You can do an NFT mint for like the shaved ice truck number 2 or whatever. So that way, if you have people visiting the island or wherever these are going to end up eventually, they can like be like, oh, that's truck number 3. I hold like 2 of their DAO NFT mints. Kind of add more of like a personal matter to it. Just an idea I wanted to throw out there.
so we did entertain the thought of having separate DAOs for separate trucks. But I believe the reason why we decided to go the route that we're going is with the revenue from the food trucks and the revenue earned from the protocol. Um, w- the protocol should be leaps and bounds ahead of what people are basically earning from these DAO share NFTs. And
Yep.
so by compiling everything into one giant treasury and releasing one of these every 4 days, um, it it should, based off of some of the numbers that we crunched, it should be more profitable for the investor to do it this way. I am totally, I do, I am interested though in how their whole project works, and if you don't mind, if you could shoot me a friend request,
Yeah.
maybe we could do a little bit more of a deep dive on that. Because yeah, if there's a better way to do anything, I'm all ears.
It's a great
Oh,
attitude.
100%. And theirs is more of the like kind of what a DAS is, but a variable one. So it depends. Like your return on investment is based off of how well that voyage goes.
What
And so it's
voyage are
like
they on,
the
Kurt?
they're about to launch Voyage 2. They're on Voyage 1 still, which was the Degen Inferno was what the
Oh
route
my
they took. So
God, did people
basically
get did people get did people get wrecked?
Yes and no. So like a lot of the stuff, it made me laugh because like everything they invested into, I was already investing into. So it's like
Oh
they got into
no.
Sphere, they got into Million Dollar Baby, they got into, like 15 or 16 other things that it's like, okay, I'm already like invest. So I had like a little baby like my portfolio as their project. But I think 50%, no, it was 42% of it was in stables and like that kind of stuff.
Hopefully it
So
wasn't in
they,
Terra Luna.
no, 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 no. It was USDC pools, I believe, is
Yeah,
what they decided
that's the way
for.
to go. That's the way to go. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's
I
like,
was
but
so
like,
close to
so
buying one of these voyages. I covered it and everything, but I decided against it because for somebody who's deep into the space,
it
like
doesn't make sense
it
as much.
doesn't make sense because I'm already investing in the same projects. But
Yep.
if you're not in the space, I like that project. EVP was a really cool project.
Yeah, I thought what
Uh,
they were doing was interesting. I really want to do like the stablecoin one. That way, it could hold NFTs, but don't have to like pair into pools, if that makes sense. And you kind of would run the stablecoin stuff, but everyone wanted to go into the complete ape side of things, as most of us crypto investors like to.
and
Um, but yeah, so
yeah, and one of the reasons I just remembered why we wouldn't want to do it that way is so okay, so we have the pizza cone truck, cone of cones,
yep.
and it's killing it. Everybody loves pizza, right? And then for the second truck, like this is the one of the ideas for our second truck. So my mother, like I said previously, she
Hold
makes these
on. My second truck, just so everyone understands, because I think we're talking about two different second. So like, there's gonna be multiple Kona cones, which is season one, but I think you're talking about season two truck, right? Which is a different style of truck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So seasons versus
Hawaiian
more food trucks.
heroes.
But yeah, so the first truck that we we'll open that's not Kona cones. So the next type of food. Um, we were we've been entertaining the thought of like a cookie cone, like ice cream cone truck, right? So
Like it.
like I was saying earlier, my mother she makes these amazing gluten-free vegan cookies here on the island, and so what I'd like to do is perfect a vegan gluten-free cookie dough recipe that we can basically integrate with this machine that we have, this cone making machine, so that we could have like an ice cream, like a cookie cone ice cream truck, right? Um,
Love it.
and so yeah, so like let's say cone of cones, the pizza cones just kills it, right? And then we release the new lineup for the new type of truck, and yeah, everybody loves ice cream, everybody loves cookies, but for whatever reason, let's say that one isn't, it's still successful, but not as successful as Kona Cones pizza cones, right? Well, then everybody that got in on that, on that mint, they're gonna be like, man, shit, all these cats that are involved in the pizza cone um, food trucks are making way more than what we're making over here with the cookie cones food truck. Or yeah, it's situations like that is kind of like what we want to avoid. Um, and so it just seemed easier and more lucrative to just compile everything into one giant treasury, release these profit share or the DAO sharing NFTs, one every 4 days. So basically, it comes out to about 100 a year, and we'll probably increase that number as we open more food trucks, so more people can get slice of the pie.
More Kona cones, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
that's
like what's going to happen first is more Kona cones are going to be made before we launch season two. We're
Yeah,
not
that's
going to
true.
rush into season two. And also with the just on that, like the Kona cones cookie thing, I actually think that should be integrated into Kona cones eventually, and we
Yeah,
just figure out more storage or something. But
yeah, that's an
um,
idea we've been tossing around there.
yeah,
The cookie.
Dessert cones. Yep.
I like it.
Does that answer your question, Kurt?
Yeah, no, it does. There's just so many. Once again, there's so many ways to like skin a cat type of a situation. I just wanted to know how everything would be structured in that way. If that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. And I'd love to pick your brain a little bit more on on the other project and the voyage and how all that stuff, like how they're operating and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Kurt,
100%.
Kurt, you had a lot of questions. Did you want to ask any other questions to the team right here on voice?
Yeah, sorry, I always flood your
No, no,
always flood your
no,
AMAs
no.
with
I didn't mean it
questions.
like that. It's much appreciated.
No, I think you guys have kind of answered the majority of stuff because my main question was the utility of the NFT, but you guys went through that quite well, actually.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that was one reason why I kind of wanted to get the whole project out before we
Yeah,
started taking
Do you
questions.
guys?
100%. Like, usually I start just throwing in questions before people start talking, just to kind of like get a baseline for what projects are, and you guys hit every nail on the head, basically.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, great AMA guys. Do you guys want to come back when you've announced a date and we can do it strategically for when it works best for you guys?
Yeah, and I'm totally game for that. And then when we do that one, I think we'd like to also have it, or host it on Twitter Spaces. Sigma,
Sure.
is that correct? I'm fairly new to Twitter Spaces, and really, I only use Twitter to keep up with the news on crypto.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
one of the things that we're going to do for DreamFi is we're going to prepare video presentation because even though it's very 90s, it's highly effective. Do you guys know if Twitter allows a video presentation in their spaces?
no,
No, they
that's
don't.
the problem.
They need to get on
yeah,
that
Once they
because
allow that,
the
yeah.
serious a serious presentation. For instance, if I were to do a private presentation for DreamFi, you better believe it's going to have a video element. I mean, these AMAs are
Mhm.
excellent devices, but this is not a pure pitch. A pure pitch needs to have a visual element. Don't you guys agree?
oh,
Mhm.
Like
totally.
if you go to somebody and
Yeah.
you ask
Yeah,
them
Yeah.
for a large amount of money, you're going to be in person or on video call with like a so I don't know. That's just a thought. Like, we're definitely going to do a video presentation. I watched Waifu Node's presentation, and I said, I gotta have something like this. You know what I mean? I gotta have my own presentation. Um,
Well, but Discord has the same issue with the stages. You can't do video stuff on here, to my knowledge.
that's true. You have to
Um,
do it in a voice chat room. They won't let you do it on the
yeah,
stage.
yeah,
Correct. And then you only can have so many people watching each live stream.
exactly. Yeah, well, that's
So,
actually one reason why we also wanted to, um, in the future, we haven't really figured out the structure for this yet, but um, hosting AMAs on a live stream on YouTube and then having it streamed over to Discord. Like basically, what we'd like to do is basically capture all of the different mediums for for these AMAs. So, Twitter Spaces, Discord, YouTube, podcasts, even, like
Which
yeah, Twitch. Um, we would like to be able to, somehow integrate all platforms into, like educational videos and AMAs and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, there's monetization on the table on all of these platforms, most of these platforms. So it's just an extra. Like if you can capture all of those platforms, you're also making revenue from that. So it's just and oh my God, so some of these AMAs, what was it? Goat Society. I think at one point their AMA had like 1,200 listeners, or no, I think it actually got up to like 1,600
Wow,
on one of their AMA.
where was this on Twitter?
No, this was on Discord.
that was on Discord. Yeah, I
Goat
was there.
Goat
Yeah,
Society? When was this?
maybe about a year ago or 8 months ago or something
Oh
like that.
my God. Yeah,
Um,
I was like Goat Society. How did I miss it? I
yeah.
understand. I understand. So,
But yeah,
how are they
so
doing
yeah,
now?
they're still
Um,
rocking and rolling. Yeah, the floor for their NFTs isn't the greatest,
they
but yeah,
got
they're still
so I'm like a moderator over there. They got a lot of things in the works. They just got a lot of deals with some investors that want to put money into their company because they're trying to make it a brand now. So it's gonna be more than an NFT project. It's gonna be like a clothing line. They want to open up a gym. Like there's so much shit
Oh
in the
my
works.
God.
Yeah.
but yeah, so
It's a
if you had
lot.
12, but if you had
Yeah.
1,600 people, tuning into a YouTube channel, or or more even, or people are
Alive. Yeah.
coming back and watching that recording or whatever, that's money. And they had, I believe at the time they had like 36,000 members in the Discord. And granted, of course, a lot of those are bots, but you couldn't talk in their general chat. It was like they would implement slowdowns, but it was just like there were so many people in that Discord, and
Yeah.
move
It
those
was
people,
nuts.
if you can move those people over to YouTube to watch your, AMA, a recording of your AMA or anything like that, that's so much money that you can make just
They'll
from
Yeah.
subscribe to
YouTube
you on
videos.
Twitch.
You
Like
know,
a bunch.
Yeah.
it's a shame because I'm doing some of the best AMAs in this space. There's no doubt about that, at least in my mind. I did the AMA with Gym Nodes, first AMA after the rug pull. No, it wasn't a rug pull. It was just a disaster, unmitigated, total, complete disaster. Um, but I won't say it's a rug pull because I don't think the guy knew that was going to happen, and I don't see how he benefited from the disaster. See what I mean? You always have to ask who benefits, and if the developers benefit, then it's a rug pull. It's a freaking rug pull. And if
Right.
they don't develop, if they if they didn't benefit, then it's anyway. There's different definitions. I mean, sometimes the rug gets pulled, and you don't know who pulled the rug. You know what I mean? But you guys are like so far beyond this. So like, not that anybody's above reproach. Although I do have one more question for you guys. We talked about a food truck and how much less expensive a tow behind is, and we talked about how the regulations in Hawaii, the red tape's not that expensive to sort of get behind. Um, why? This goes back to a question that I asked earlier, which was about profit sharing, and Chef Rich said, it'd be like 3 to 5 years per truck. Um, if you could, it sounds like you can get a truck up and running for like $40,000. So
Oh
why
yeah,
why not just do it out of
most
your
like
own pocket and skip the profit sharing?
because personally, I am in love with crypto, and I don't see enough legitimate projects doing enough um, innovative things in the space, and I feel that if not if when when we prove that this can be done, where you can integrate, the real world business to the blockchain, and you can use mediums like NFTs and tokenomics and stuff like that to get this done. There will be a lot more innovation in the space as to how people want to use this model to integrate their project or integrate their business to the blockchain. So really, yeah, I mean, this could all be done with the money in our own pockets, with our own sweat, blood, and tears. But
That'd be
ultimately, at
more
the
fun with crypto, honestly,
it,
and
it
having a whole community behind it, and like the ideas and the people that we'll be able to source from our group. Like it would
yeah,
honestly help build the business and the
And the crypto
project
space.
like
Yeah.
like
and
what
the,
like
and the
what business could you, like, name one business right now where you can go to their Discord and go talk to the people that created it, you know, and chit
That's
chat
true.
and throw ideas. Like there's so many beautiful things about the
of
world of
that
crypto.
and to answer your point about like why not just keep all just do it ourselves. And I mean, well, one, because I don't think we'd be able to grow as fast without the project, but then two, the reaching such a low cut, 25%, about 4% each member, is because yeah, I mean, some of us have own businesses and that type of stuff, but we haven't built a project, or we haven't, yeah, I mean, we haven't built a project yet. So as soon as we have this first season out, I feel like we would be able to, on the second season, be able to take a little bit more of the mint revenue, just because it would be justified at that point. So it's also like a long term thing for us as well. We're not just planning on, doing this one season and then being like, all right, well, that was fun. I
No,
mean,
I understand.
I,
I
I mean,
understand what
honestly,
you're
we have
saying.
a lot more ideas for, other projects beyond Blockchain Bytes even. But
I
obviously, I
understand.
mean, we
We have a whole
we,
list
yeah.
Do you,
of projects. Yeah,
we are well past the point. I'd love to keep hanging out with you guys. Can I tell you guys about DreamFi just very briefly? I promise,
Yeah.
2 minutes.
yeah, 100%.
No, no, no,
So
yeah, go
we
for it.
are still in an iterative phase. We're still early. We're hoping to launch on July 4th. We have a lot of the development done, blah, blah, blah. Everything is like highly legit and totally cool. However, the point I want to get across is the idea is that we are going to get DAG nodes. Now, DAG nodes are a long-term investment. Nobody buys a DAG node thinking, "Oh, I'm going to get rich tomorrow," but they could get rich in 2 or 3 years. And so we are putting together it's a node project, classic node, 10 tokens to make a node, a certain APR, and 30% of the anyway, a lot of people have criticized us like, oh, nodes are dead, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And one of our answers is most of the node projects failed because they stole the money or they had terrible code. Um, we are doing this as a way to get our investors a DAG node in their hand so that in 2 or 3 years, when DAG stops producing rewards, we can sell all the DAG and airdrop our investors a great big chunk of money, and everybody's going to win. And we're talking about taking 9%. So um,
For
giving
taxes and stuff, like buying and
no,
selling
no, no.
taxes.
So like we're gonna have a treasury, and we're gonna buy a bunch of DAG, and then in like 18 months to like 36 months, it's actually not defined by the DAG team. They're gonna stop doing DAG rewards, but by then, DAG will be an open platform that thousands of projects will be developing on, and the token price should be much higher due to the much higher demand. Um, so when the rewards end, we will just sell, and we will keep 9% of the treasury to pay ourselves, and we'll give
Oh,
91% back to the investors. Um,
yeah, yeah,
does that make sense? Like, okay, keep in mind that if DAG is given, like, the airdrops are gonna more than make up for that 9%, first of all. Second of all,
Hmm.
this is a very small amount of money. I mean, we're talking about years of work for 20 some thousand dollars. Unless DAG goes way up in price, like we actually expect it will. I mean, I expect DAG's gonna be, I mean, don't forget that 18 months ago, AVAX was like $1, and AVAX was over a
yeah,
hundred
Hmm.
dollars. So, one of the criticisms is like DAG is so slow. DAG doesn't have a great enough APR. You guys can't, make money off of DAG. And it's like this, we're not, the APR is just the icing on top. You know what I mean? The investment is into DAG. Anyway, does that make sense? Do you guys sort of get the scope of the project?
yeah. No, it sounds cool.
Doesn't
Um,
it sound cool? Like we're gonna get a DAG node, and then we're gonna airdrop it all back to everybody in a few
yeah, that's
years,
a
and we're gonna take a cut.
yeah, happy investors for sure. Yeah,
Well,
that's
it's cool because it's not a pump and well, you're not just trying like, oh hey, fucking everyone, hurry up and rush into this, and then in a couple weeks, we're all going to be in our Lambos. I hope those projects are dead now. You know what I mean? Like I don't think
Yeah.
those exist anymore. Like those all died with the DAOs or started the DAO death. All back in before Christmas. Basically, everyone's Christmases were ruined if you were in a DAO. Basically,
yeah,
um,
and
Yeah.
yeah, that was a tough pill to swallow.
GG.
Lost a
yeah.
lot of money
Well,
on
what would you
GG.
what would you say about the argument that if a legit looking node project launched tomorrow, there'd be plenty of people itching to take a gamble. I mean, I think it's wrong to ignore the human nature behind greed, right? I mean, my channel is called Fear versus Greed. Greed's real, and people like the idea of getting 100% APR in, or not APR, but 100% in 10 days. Like when, for instance,
Mhm.
Dairy.money started, you would ROI in 10 days. Fire, one of the most successful projects of all time,
Yeah,
you ROI in, I think, 45 days. Um, there's something to that. We have fierce internal debates about DreamFi, about whether we want to appeal to Degen or appeal to somebody else. And we're trying to find a balance. I don't know if that's the right idea, but when I set out to make DreamFi, I said, man, okay, so you guys know I run Fear versus Greed. I review hundreds of projects. And one of the main things, if I could sum up exactly what I'm looking for in a project, I'm looking for a project where the developers and the founders would invest in it themselves. And if they don't pass that test, then you better be wary, right? So I'm thinking
Mhm.
like,
Right.
what is a project that I would invest in? So that's where I'm coming in with DreamFi. However, people have pointed out to me that what I would like to invest in is not what they would like to invest in, and that's totally true. So you have to listen to the market, you have to listen to feedback, you have to get good team members who will tell you that idea is good, this idea is bad. Um, so there's always a compromise, but yeah, like the people that have been criticizing DreamFi, it's not that I take it personally. It's that I would definitely invest in my own project. You know what I mean? I would definitely invest because I like a node project. Um, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I like a node project.
no, I love nodes. I have multiple different nodes, and the main thing that I look for, if I'm going to buy into a node project, the main thing I'm looking for is just like what makes them different. And if you have that, if you've got something that makes you different from the rest, that makes it so it's like, okay, yeah, this isn't just a copy paste of that node project or this one, or like if there's something different that you have on the table, um, that's what I look for, right? And it sounds like, yeah, the way that you have it structured, it's very different. Yeah, I can't think of any other node project that like will basically pay out its investors once the emissions have run out. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's like gives everybody something to look forward to, right? You can mean, and we're relying on Constellation, which is the name of the company that runs DAG. Um, they've said it's going to be like 18 months to 3 years. Now they might change that. Um, so that's a degree of uncertainty, which is one of the ingredients in FUD. But the longer they wait, the better. And if they do it earlier, so be it. So be it. Like like so
Yeah,
many
see, the
people are
problem with the
so anal about everything. Life is messy, man. Like if you want to make
well,
money, you better get your hands dirty, you know?
and the problem with the current state of the market is, um, people who have been in the space for 6 months to a year, they've probably got a fair taste
They're
on
wrecked.
how long, well, how long projects stay around for.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The majority of projects, right? So, most most new projects coming out don't make it 2 to 3 months. Unless they have something innovative, unless they have something that's different, um, that stands out. A lot of people will see that, fuck, man, I can't get into anything that lasts longer than 3 months. It's like everything just, at least in my experience,
Well, let me ask
you know,
you this, and this is an open question for all of you, including Kurt.
So
Just be as honest as you possibly can be. If there was a project and you thought that the idea was really good, but there was two projects launching the same exact day, and one was offering 300% APR, and the other was offering 30% APR, which one would you buy into?
well, I mean, I would do way more research than just looking at the APR before I ape in. But um, basically, yeah, I mean, I'd look at both projects and I would say, okay, 30% APR. What is this? What does this protocol offer?
Yeah.
What are the tokenomics? What are the mechanics of the protocol?
I would have to look at the utilities and everything.
Yeah,
We're gonna buy
You know what's
DAG.
funny about saying that too is 30% APR is fucking insane.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, it
Like,
is.
that's the funniest thing is that we're talking about like going like, oh, what if it's only 30% APR compared to 300? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then, if we were in Dow days, we'd be like, oh, how many millions of percent is that? How
Yeah,
many
yeah.
billions of
Three
percent
Google it.
are they offering an APR? Like it just
300,000%.
yeah, it just so it sucks that we kind of have to operate from that standpoint. But like, if we can start, like, that's what I'm hoping is like we can start to educate the regular crypto investor, the regular just investor, and be like, bro, fucking, you sit down with Edward Jones, and they're gonna tell you, 6% a year is good, and like
yep.
what they're going for. So
Oh
Yeah.
like
yeah.
you can hop on 30% and it's like not guaranteed, but it has like a strong, a strong chance of playing panning out, then that's a fucking baller investment in my view.
And
Yeah.
personally, I can't wait for all of this shit to stop being as outrageous as it is. Because what it does is um, it spoils everybody, and they get a small taste of what 300% APR or 1200% APR looks like, and then they go, yeah, that's what I need. I need that. I need an APR that that'll pay me back my initial investment in 10 days. It's like it's just asinine. And the problem is like so many people are getting used to that when they see two projects side by side, like what you're talking about, 30% APR versus 300, the 300 just it's more enticing to your average investor, and your average investor is going to ape into that. Now the thing is big money. The whales of the space, they do their due diligence just like we do, and yeah, if the protocol has something to offer that they can see long term stability and long term profits from, then typically the whale. I mean, the whales do they play both games. They'll fuck around and crash a project that is
A whale will play the launch of the 300%
yeah,
and
exactly.
cash out in a day or two, and then go over the 30% and sit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
So really, yeah, to answer your question, I would probably invest in both. But I would probably stay invested in the one that, yeah,
The 30%.
was touting a 30% APR,
Yep.
because I would presume that the one, yeah, that's boasting 30% has much more behind it than what the cover of that book
It probably
shows.
has more
Yeah.
realistic fucking tokenomics,
Yeah,
rather than
exactly. Yeah,
Well,
because
and if you, sorry to jump in, if you have that 300%, you're gonna have to have stuff that stabilizes the like coins and stuff. That you're gonna have a marketplace. You're gonna have upgrades to whatever it is that you have in there. And so
Um,
if you are gonna try to target kind of the degen people, depending on if it can compound and whatnot, it's like the 300% is gonna be harder to sustain,
how do
where the
you
30% gives you such a longer runway.
account? I mean, I totally agree with what you're saying, but there is another side of it. How do you account for the success of something like MFR nodes, where everybody looked at that project and said this project looks like ass, and then they noted up anyway, then they bought it anyway.
I think, well, because that was when the nodes were kind of taken off, correct?
It was late in the cycle, but yeah, they were still blowing up. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I
don't
think
they have
that
an
comes
NFT
down.
though? Isn't that an NFT project?
No, it's just a node project.
Well, and it's
But
like,
but MFers is an NFT project. I know that for like is it are
I'm
they
not
not related?
I'm not
MF.
aware of the relationship, but I don't think there's a relationship. But never heard of MF or
No
NFTs.
shit.
Never.
Weird.
well,
Yeah,
and
and
it could be an NFT node, kind of like what the tavern
Or
was,
or
or
it could
is.
just be a node project that tried to play off of the NFT project or vice versa. Just the
Yeah,
name.
No, no,
Yeah.
no, no. MF or
yeah,
nodes has no NFT attached. I'm like 99% sure it's either different projects or something else is happening.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
MF for nodes was for sure a node
Well, take
project.
stars. Stars is an even better example. No
Oh,
utility, no plans, nothing. Terrible graphics, terrible site, totally generic, nothing stand out. One of the best
and they have a
DeFi
cult following.
projects ever. I mean, in terms of money that they brought in and the hype and um,
Yeah, no,
but where are
Starnet.
they today?
Yeah, now
today
it's
it's one of the worst
a lie.
projects. It is literally
Yeah.
killing DeFi. What they have
Yeah, now it's
done by giving their treasury to these other people, ugh, what were they
Well,
thinking?
and that yeah, and that's what it comes down to. It's like, so I've always put DeFi, so not only nodes, but like DeFi is, you have to, a lot of people underestimate how much marketing plays an aspect in this stuff. So it's like you can have the worst project in the world, but if it is on that trend line of like when the nodes are hyping, if you have a node project that has decent marketing to it, doesn't matter how like horrible your project actually is, you're gonna get a bunch of people that ape into it, and it's gonna take off, and then it's
yeah,
gonna take off, and then people get FOMO on it, then even more people get into it, increasing the FOMO into other people because like, oh, people are making money, 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 and then eventually hits that breaking point where you don't get enough people jumping into it, and it just crashes.
yeah. See,
Yeah.
this is like when it comes to node projects or DAOs or anything like that. It's always good to have a secondary source of income for the protocol.
That's
And
why
so
we have
what
the
I always
DAG. That's why we have the big DAG investment, man.
that's what I was
Go
going to say
on,
though
go
is
on.
that the with the nodes and DAOs, like it's relatively simple. Launch a DEX, right? Just a trading platform. Um, and there's all kinds of cool features that you can tap into the DEX with that have burn mechanics like lottery systems, raffles, and but anyways, just trading tokens on the platform. You incur a tax, and then using that to fund the treasury of the DAO protocol or the node project or whatever. Like having something like that, it's relatively easy to integrate to the project, and I feel like that should almost be a given, right? Like if you have a node project, you should probably just launch a DEX with it as well. Like if you look at what Smart Nodes is doing, oh my God, I love the direction that they're going. They they started off as just a node project, right? And they had reflections and stuff integrated, which I've been talking about for over a year. I'm like, all of these yield producing, yield farms, DAOs, nodes, they all need to have a token tax and reflections on their token. What the fuck? Why is nobody doing this? And finally, like we were talking about doing
Yeah.
it. But yeah, it was just like we wanted to do this instead. But finally, someone came along that integrated reflections in a successful manner. I think ETHPay tried to do that as well. They attached reflections to their node or whatever. But anyways, or they were going to have a node or a DAO or something. Yeah. So anyways, the Smart Nodes protocol, they started off as just a node project with reflections, great marketing, good website, awesome team that was doing voice chats 24/7. Like there's always even today there's always somebody in the voice chat there to answer questions. But then they switched gears once they got to 9,950 nodes created. They basically surprised the community and they said, "Hey, we're actually we're going to stop node production. Surprise, we're actually switching gears and we're going to be airdropping NFTs that basically will replace your nodes, right? So if you have 30 nodes, you get 30 of these NFTs, and these NFTs are attached to our DEX. But the other thing about smart nodes is they created on their website, they basically created a website where you can manage all of your nodes in on one website. As long as that they were partnered with them, and they're constantly adding new partners, right? So if you go to Smart Nodes and you go to their website, you can see all these different nodes, like popular nodes, that you can actually manage. Claim, compound, all of the features all in one spot, right? So now they're switching gears, and their DEX, their swap tool, and their management tool, and all that stuff. It's going to be incurring a tax just like any other DEX, right? Well, now all of the NFT holders, which were previously node holders, are going to capture 30% of the revenue created from the DEX. So it's a really interesting project that nobody's done what they're doing, and so they have my full support. I've got 32 smart nodes, or I guess I have 32 smart node NFTs coming my way. But I guess what I
have
was
them
getting
already.
at,
Oh my God.
you
I
said I should have them already?
Yeah.
huh? I don't I,
No
don't-
shit.
I don't
The
know. I mean,
NFT.
I'd love to have them on for an AMA, but they won't have me. I've got some bad blood with them because their launch was so poor that I burned my bridge with them, which was not fair to them. But yeah, they're. Oh, I have to question though. I mean, this whole idea of uh, you know what? Let me bite my tongue because this is a Blockchain Bytes AMA and not a Smart Nodes AMA, and
Right.
I could criticize this idea for hours. This is such a bad idea. For one thing,
No.
it's not original. There are other projects right now that are developing ways, a platform for you to manage all of your node projects. By the way, how's that idea looking at May 21st, 2022? Not looking good. You're talking about like 200 people in the whole world, because all of those node projects are dead. I never claim, I never claim. I'm in over 30 node projects, and
Mhm.
I never claim because there's nothing to claim. It's over. It's over.
Yeah, just
So
let it stack up, kind of in the same boat with any other node I have, right? Because it's like not worth the gas to like
it's not
claim it.
worth the
So
gas. I mean, even Fire nodes is like $12 a token. It's like, am I really?
stronger nodes is screwed. Yeah, it's
Oh my
Oh
crazy.
yeah.
God. So yeah, I mean,
Or
smart nodes is I just can't. I'll never get over that launch. I'll never. Were you there for the launch, Rich?
for for smart nodes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When the
Yeah.
token ran up to over $700 because nobody could sell
No,
because it
I was
was literally a
getting my
honeypot where you literally could not sell because their
Yeah.
contract was so poor, and they didn't tell anybody to not buy. There was no announcements, there was no communication for almost 15 minutes. And I told my community, I told Fear vs. Greed, 30 seconds after the launch, do not buy. It is a honeypot. Because I just didn't have any of this. I didn't care who they were. I don't care how hype they
Well, and you
are.
got
I
well,
said,
you
is
also
this,
have
you
a
know, but my point is, I literally knew from my market experience that the chart was impossible. There was literally no cells. And in 30 seconds, in a normal project, you will see cells. Like there will be
oh,
buys and
100%,
sells
yeah.
immediately as people are testing whether or not it's a honeypot. Because I typically would do that. I would buy into a launch. I'd buy like $10 worth and then sell immediately. That way I could test, is it a honeypot? What are the actual cell taxes? Because they'll say the cell tax is one thing and they lie. A lot of projects
Oh
just straight
yeah.
up lie. Um,
Oh yeah.
and on smart nodes, I said it's a honeypot, guys.
Yeah.
Look at the
Well,
price action. Why did they
everyone was
wait
turned off.
15 minutes? Why didn't they pause trading? Why didn't they make an announcement? They went radio silent. It's like they choked. And I thought, who is in charge of this project? Why isn't anybody making an announcement saying we know there is a problem, we're working on it, we're sorry that it's uh, not working. We'll have another update in just a couple minutes. But there was
Oh yeah.
just
No, the launch.
silence,
Yeah.
silence.
No, the launch was fucked. And like I was pretty bummed because I got whitelisted. I got my free NFT. Yeah, like all the or not NFT, the free node or whatever, plus the two or whatever that we were allowed to purchase. But yeah, so anyways, so I was really bummed because I was looking at the project and what they were promising, and I was like, dude, this is gonna be sick. And when the launch went down the way it did, I was torn, dude. And then but then I kept my eyes on the project, and I just stayed in their community, would see what how responsive they were with everybody in their Discord and all that stuff. And then once I saw, I think it hit about $5 or a little less. Once it hit about $5, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna ape in, and I dropped. I forgot. I think it was like $1,600, but yeah, I
That's so brave considering it literally went from 775 it went from over
well,
$700 down
yeah,
to 5. What
but
the fuck?
anybody that's been in the space for a few months knows that I wasn't going to sell 700.
Yeah, but it went,
It's
but it dropped it, in like a day. I mean, like it was like, yeah, I don't know what the hell I don't know what the hell happened. They should have
like
communicated better. They should have stepped up to the plate. I mean, yes, a curveball was thrown, but nobody even swung at it.
so I personally though, like I can't judge whether or not I'm going to get into a project in the future based off of the first 30 minutes of their launch. So that's why I stayed. I kept eyes on the project, and yeah, I felt safe getting in at $5. And when like I would say a few hours after I got in, it went off. Like I think smart tokens got up to like $16 or something.
Yeah, well, they
Um,
launched a whole new contract shortly. Like it took like 3 weeks after the launch. So you said 30 minutes. It took like 3 weeks for them to launch a new smart contract, and I had already written them off, so I'm not giving them a fair shake. But
yeah,
like, yeah, I
yeah,
mean, like I wrote them off after like 2 or 3 days, which to me is more than enough time to respond to a catastrophic event. You know what I mean? And they really, but I have heard from more than one person, and you included, that they did get it together eventually.
and it's a killer project now. If anybody were to ask me like what, well, I guess now you can't get into this node project, because it's all NFTs. But before they switched the gears to being an NFT project, if anybody were to ask me, what node project, are you in and would recommend others to get into, smart nodes would be on that list, which is a very short list, by the way.
How much liquidity do they have in their token?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Is it
Let's see.
more or less than $250,000?
Let's take a look. Smart. Oh wait, where? That's not it. God, I fucking hate copycat or fucking scammers.
Oh,
Can never find.
oh.
Where is their token?
Thank you guys.
Text.
While you're looking for that, let us know about. I think you guys brought some whitelists for audience participation and also for Fear versus Greed members. How many did you guys bring, or did we not, or did we talk about a different arrangement?
Um,
We might
yeah,
have
no,
we might have
I
talked about a
believe
different arrangement.
I want to say it was the whitelist. I can't remember off the top of my head. It was a few weeks ago.
Well, do you want to
Um,
offer some whitelists to for audience members and for Fear
yeah,
versus Greed?
absolutely. Yeah, so everybody who's tuned in will automatically, well, if you tap in over to the Blockchain Bytes Discord, you'll be added to the basically the C list. So we have Alpha, Beta, and Charlie whitelists. The Alpha, if you head over to the Discord, you can see all the terms and conditions of each whitelist. But for AMA participation is just for showing up. You get Charlie whitelist spot.
Hype.
So actually, hold on one second. Let me do something real quick.
Yeah, just make a support ticket and then I'll get you set away.
Yep. So everybody who just heard that, yeah, slide on over to the Blockchain Bytes Discord, create a ticket, and Swope will get you all set up and get you whitelisted.
Okay, I made
And
the announcement. I'm also going to tell my members.
and also, I might get back to you with another little tidbit of information as far as the giveaway goes after the AMA. I just have to verify with the team that this is what we're gonna do. But um, yeah, no, we plan on spicing that up a little bit more. But yes, just for tuning in, for being here at the AMA, you will be whitelisted for Blockchain Bytes. But Caraway, we've got a little bit more for the community for you. So I'll touch base with you on that here in a little bit after the AMA.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us, man. I appreciate it.
Do you guys want to say a few words and we'll wrap this thing up?
Yeah, I mean, I've said my
No,
two
no,
cents.
yeah, I would just say, stay tuned into the Discord for, all the updates. We're eventually gonna, and once we have everything set up, start actually selling these cones and getting customer feedback and start honing in on a menu and a recipe list and all that. So, if you want to be part of that whole process, just tune into the Blockchain Bytes. And if you have any suggestions, we have a suggestions channel. So, yeah.
Yeah, the Discord's still in development, so I'm taking suggestions. Whatever you want, like we want poker nights, game nights. I'm trying to think of some things like to throw in there. Maybe get a Twitch channel going. I don't know. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
we will be hosting events for anybody interested in competitive gaming. So um, we're gonna have competitions for whitelist spots, for other giveaways, free mints and stuff. And the idea is we wanted to basically host games that allow us to create a private server and get battle royale games going. Yeah, just we're still trying to find the best, easiest means to do so. But yeah, we're trying to get. We will be getting the community really active and involved, and we want people to be excited and just to be in our Discord. Like we have people that tune in first thing in the morning just to check the sneak peeks. It's like it's exciting to them. So we want people to we want to have as many exciting things in the Discord as possible. So no matter what's going on, it's just a fun place to be.
yep,
Awesome. Yeah. To that end, we might have to do some cross collaborations and just try to get people together and talking about the same idea and just riding the sort of energy that creates. Don't you guys agree?
Mm-hmm.
I've got a
Yeah,
million
sounds
more
like a great idea.
questions. I've got a million more questions for you guys, but this is our longest AMA ever, so we better wrap it up. I mean, I would love to go into your marketing plans. You guys have so many original ideas. I'm sure you'd have some very interesting marketing plan ideas too. But
Oh,
but
yeah.
yeah, it's we're over 2 hours in. Let's land this plane. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for audience members. Anybody who is interested in a whitelist, go over to the BCB Discord. Tell them you are from Fear versus Greed. Make a support ticket and tell them that you're from this AMA, and you'll get whitelisted. Um, Go ahead, Chef Rich, and take us down. Land the plane for us.
You got it. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in and hearing everything that we had to say. We hope to see you over at the Blockchain Bytes Discord and eventually out here in Hawaii eating one of these pizza cones.
Amazing,
Hell yeah.
awesome. I'll get you guys the YouTube
Appreciate you guys.
link. Thank you guys so much for
Yeah.
coming. It really was appreciated that all three of you showed up. And Kurt, thank you for jumping up on the stage. Thank you
Oh,
for
anytime.
yeah. Thank you, Britton Butter. Thank you, LeVar Burton. Gosu showed up. Thank you guys for being here. And yeah,
Thank you for having me.
you're welcome. I can't wait to talk to you guys again soon. Let me know when you guys have decided on a date, and we will try to line something up.
Sounds good, brother. You have a good
Awesome.
rest of your day, and that goes to everybody.
Wonderful. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks for coming. Bye, everybody.
All right.
All right, see ya.